As you know, the United States believes that you are arming the separatists and you're encouraging them, and that you are using the Russian armed services, and that adds to the conflict, that heightens the emergency, and many people worry that it's tending towards some new Cold War.
Знаете, к холодной войне приводят не...
You know, Cold War is caused not by local conflicts, but by global decisions like the unilateral withdrawal of the United States from the ABM Treaty. That is indeed a step which pushes all of us towards a new spiral of confrontation, because it shifts the global security system as to regional conflicts wherever they happen. Curiously, warring parties always find arms somewhere. And the same goes about the eastern part of Ukraine. What I want to say is that if today's situation is resolved via political means, no arms will be required. But to achieve that, there has to be goodwill as well as the willingness to be engaged in a direct dialogue. We want to facilitate that. We're going to facilitate that, but we'll never agree if anyone somewhere will try to speak from the position of force, either with the police or the militia or special forces or armed forces, until armed units and the so-called nationalist battalions arrived in those territories. No arms had been present there, and there would have been no arms in those territories if they tried from the very outset to resolve the issue via political means. Arms arrived there after armed forces started to be used against those rebels. They're trying to resist, and once they try to resolve it by political means, no arms will be required.
What are acceptable borders for Ukraine, for Russia? What borders are acceptable for you?
Что вы имеете в виду, когда говорите о границе?
What do you mean when you're talking about borders? Geographical borders or political borders? What are you talking about specifically?
Что касается сотрудничества, мы всегда...
As for cooperation, we've always said, and we're going to say that in future, there's nothing new about that. Despite all the difficulties of today, I've always thought that Ukrainians and Russians are one people, at least one ethnic group. Well, certainly they have their cultural peculiarities, but they have common culture, common spiritual foundations, common history. Whatever happens, in the end, Russia and Ukraine are destined to a common futurity. From the very beginning, we have thought that Ukraine has the right to make its own choice, civilizational, economic, political choice. It's no secret, we all know that it was Russia who initiated the disintegration of the USSR. We initiated providing sovereignty to all these countries, and nothing happened. But both Russia and Ukraine, apart from being bound by those ties that I've told you about, they're also bound by the realities of today, the common engineering infrastructure, the common energy infrastructure, the common transportation system, uniform regulation framework. And we can also speak one language with no hindrances. And it is related to us directly. It is related to our interest. We've always assumed that we are going to resolve all controversies, and it's quite natural that controversies arise via negotiations. But if third parties start to be engaged in this process, they have we believe, to take into account our interests as well and not just try to put us before a choice. So in the political dimension, we look forward to a full-fledged and equal dialogue.